Good afternoon, everyone. Such a pleasure being here on a Saturday afternoon. Pretty excited. My presentation is a little tangential one. It was on customer-centric change. So, one of the most interesting aspects of change is what we are talking about today on customer centricity. So, let me start with some of the early changes which we grew up learning in our life. I don't know if you have heard about Polo, the mint with the hole. Anyone in the room? Okay, and would all of you know the reason behind what the concept was? Any hands? Okay, the story goes like this, that Polo, when it was launched, it was a flat tablet. And at one point in time, it was being taken by a child and it got stuck in the throat. And it led to a casualty. And the brand had such a tough time managing it, so they came up with this creative idea from that one customer, and they created a hole in that mint. And they ran a campaign called Polo, the mint with a hole, because it was the real survival of their business, because it had given such a huge threat to life for people, because if the size of the tablet was a little bigger, they didn't want to reduce it to that extent. So I think this is one of the very basic customer-centric changes which we grew up seeing in our life. It's a very old story, and likewise, I don't know if you would have seen, how many of you are aware when sachet was launched? I guess 80 to 90% of people, maybe more in the room, were not born when it was done the first time. We all grew up. I mean, people like me who are now, I've just about touched 60, so you can imagine. So we grew up with seeing bottles of shampoos, and it was so difficult to afford and it was so difficult as a business for anybody in that space to be driving volumes. So the most creative idea from a customer centricity perspective was to create a sachet. I don't know how many of you are aware, a sachet was first time created in 1983. And it was the idea of selling shampoo in 1 rupee. Kevin Care was the brand. Thereafter, HLL went on to, of course, replicate that success. And they launched multiple products in a sachet. Some of you must be wondering, I hope this guy knows that this is an HR session, right? So don't you worry, I'm on track, okay? And that's by design. So I'm happy to bring those thoughts together before we go ahead. Because the moment I think of a sachet, I don't know how many of you sitting in a premium business school in a metro have actually seen life very close. How many of you have actually seen oil being sold in a spoon? 1 spoon. I see 2-3 hands. Happy to see that. But folks, I think we are all blessed, and what is important is to know life very closely. Those are also mass customers who cannot afford buying that quota for the whole day or the week, for the whole week perhaps, if not for a month. They buy in a spoon. And that's where I was trying to relate to life in a sachet. Okay? So sachet was launched from a customer's perspective, but the customer centricity is such a huge learning that you could create sachets out of many things in your life. Okay, this is a very popular name. I don't know if these guys come to hostels, and if you stay in one and these guys deliver, then you must be knowing what is the power of Blinkit. Now Blinkit is known to everyone. Zomato is a story which is every day on CNBC as well as in the investment rooms, how big the idea has become and how they are, at least so to speak, they are outperforming the competition, and they are still growing tall, doing pretty well. What I want to tell you about is what has changed in Blinkit. Where did Blinkit come from? So the story was of Zomato. Zomato was a delivery platform. Went on to build not just one thing, but what the most powerful thing which I sense. How many of you are aware that Blinkit delivers, of course, groceries? Everyone knows, right? How many of you know that Blinkit delivers groceries home? I know it's difficult on a Saturday afternoon to get up and raise a hand, right? I'm sure, because that was such a basic question, you'll say, yaar, what is this man asking? How many of you know that Blinkit delivers a printout at your home? Wow, I'm now in the right campus. Thank you. So I hope that is not some assignment done by one and copy pasted to all, right? In my engineering college, I remember there was something called GT, glass topo. Some of the folks, senior folks would know in the room. In engineering colleges, typically one guy would do the drawing and thereafter you'll put a bucket, you'll put a glass and somebody will trace it all and it is submitted as an assignment. Those were the days, of course, not that I'm recommending, but of course campus has its own learning. So the learning was still involved in some form or the other. But Blinkit delivers printouts and it's such a powerful thing which many of the seniors don't know. Okay, sitting here, I could prepare all the visa documents of my wife who is in Gurgaon, deliver, reach, everything in 5-10 minutes, 8 minutes, and you're home. And you don't need any other help. It will be delivered in such a beautiful pack that and confidential, etc., 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 right? So, perhaps another way of looking at customer-centric change. Somebody would have understood the need, because printout for papas used to be such a pain. I don't know, most of you would have at some stage told your papa, I need a printout tonight, I have an assignment. Maybe in school. I know you guys have grown, okay guys, yeah. But still, somebody would have actually thought of that as a use case, right? Ride hailing, of course, is something which all of you all use every day. But what is changed there? They started with something, started with a cab, went on to, add on an auto, because they figured out that auto is more popular than the cab for many people. And soon they have a motorbike available now, right? A motorbike, I remember Shalini, the previous speaker, was in Africa. I was also in Kenya for some time. And we used to be amazed at the way, they call it a taxi in Kenya, by the way. It's a bike, but they call it a taxi. And we always used to think that amazing things that Kenya has adopted, which India is yet to adopt, and finally we could see someone launching that in India. And thereafter, where does customer centricity stop? It doesn't stop. And then you figured out there are cancellations, then somebody will launch a no cancellation cab, and then thereafter there are issues with the cab quality, then somebody launches a Blue Smart in Delhi and says it will reach, it can be booked well in advance, it will be, the driver will open the door, etc., etc., and all that. So customer centricity is something which is an everyday affair. Customer centric change, right? No one in this room is probably from sales and marketing, is it? Oh, I see 1, 2, 3, wonderful. So most of you are HR folks, right? One more exercise on the other hand now, not the right, the one which you raised the last time. If you are from HR, raise your hand. Yeah, the other one, wonderful. So, no, not from HR, the others, the students, no one raised a hand. I thought they were all from HR. Can someone tell me which stream are you all from? I am told it's a monologue, but you can speak. Okay, fair. So the point is that customer centricity, we will come to HR, that's why I was asking this question. M-Pesa Kenya, did you hear about M-Pesa? In Kenya, M-Pesa would have been launched in which year? Any guesses? Any guesses? 2010. Pretty close. 2007, M-Pesa got launched in Kenya, was a Safaricom product which is a Vodafone partner. And it was such a raise, such a successful product, it changed the lives of Kenyans. And of course, especially the ones below the poverty line. And M-Pesa gave so much of direction to us in India that today we are one of the largest in digital transactions in money in that sense. Zomato. I talked about Blinkit, but that's not the time I wanted to talk about Zomato. Zomato, I don't know how many of you remember the sealed with empathy case. Have you seen that change? What happened to Zomato when their packaging got changed with sellotapes and special ways of packaging? Are you aware of the incident that one of the Zomato employees was feeling hungry and he stopped at one place and opened one of the parcels and he ate from that parcel? and they were trolled on multiple fronts for the employee care with respect to whether their employees are hungry, are they being paid enough, are they being put to stress, to deliver in sun and harsh conditions, etc., etc. Zomato adapted to the change. They ensured that thereafter all the packages that are delivered are sealed, and they of course promise to the customer that if it is not delivered intact, please raise the concern instantly. Well, that changed the life of delivery parcels. But what did Zomato do the extra mile, understanding from the messages from the society? I was surprised. I don't know, I was in Gurgaon. There's a place called Galleria. Galleria is as in one of the markets in Gurgaon. DLF, not the Galleria if you know from Gurgaon, but there is one very close to the DLF phase 3, and they opened, I went and saw they had a ground floor premium shop, and that has been opened. I don't know, it might have got opened at other places as well, but it was an eye-opener for me to see that they created a recharge room for all their delivery partners. It was a place where delivery guys can go. There is a visi-cooler, there is a restroom, there are magazines, there is a TV, and there are multiple charging points for charging their mobiles, because mobile is a very important part of their toolkit. So I think that was very important for them to create the recharge rooms. I think for somebody who understands HR must understand what is customer centricity and how customers' needs, how customer centricity drives HR and policies and people. Zomato has actually further created a success story for all of us to see the life cycle, what they are now. You must have read about how they have tied up now about over the Paytm business of the ticketing and entertainment, how they have tied up with the PVR in terms of creating food courts, etc. And partnering with them that now your Zomato delivery can be delivered in a cinema hall. Cinemas were bleeding, so it's a good tie-up, it's a win-win. So they're trying to capture your entire life cycle of dining out or entertainment, etc. So you dine out in a restaurant, there is a Zomato Gold which gives you discounts. You order at home, you have of course the coupons, etc., and the other things. And the last thing I wanted to tell you before any of you whispers into anybody else's ear, I don't get paid by Zomato, Blinkit, or all of these, by the way. Okay, so these are case studies for us to learn from. And by the way, I also know that most of these you would be hearing in your classroom every day, but why am I still talking about them? I want you to go deeper and understand what has driven this change. I think that is where you need to understand that how customer-centric change drives people and how it drives all the HR policies. Any of you knows about cellular technology? Would be such a stupid question to ask, right? But what you would not know, how many of you have actually gone to a post office and seen a postcard, seen an inland letter? I see the front benches at least, and of course many of you, I'm happy to see that. Many of us, I was in Mussoorie, in Landor, there is a very small post office I went to which was a residential post office. I was amazed. In a hill station that remote, they had a small post office where someone who is running the post office has also been given the residence in the same place. And I went and bought some of those cards which are even today prevalent and available. But what cellular technology has done is that it has taken us all from those postcard and inland letters days to what the magic it has created and the life, the way it has changed for all of us. And for everything it has gone on adding as a use case from a customer's point of view. Everything has come on that one platform. Of course, it has its own pluses, minuses, etc., etc. And so has the technologies understanding, whether it is cellular technology or AI or machine learning, all of it has been changing, transforming our lives by virtue of the customer change, customer's requirement, and it's more importantly, the power of a present mind. It is how present you are, how fast you are in identifying that customer need and understanding what's the pain of the customer and changing it. Like I talked about the ride-hailing platforms, whether Ola or Uber or something, as with every feedback they would have changed and they have reached, and now of course the biggest success story of Ola Electric, with the electric part of it, I don't know how many of you have been tracking the share price. It more than doubled in its IPO and one of the stellar performances. So all of this happens only when you are keeping pace with the time, keeping pace with your customer, and never losing sight of what is being asked for. Right? Okay, I couldn't stop doing this, so you will have to excuse me for this. I come from Rustomjee, we are into real estate, and we are known for our thoughtfulness. Our tagline is, it's thoughtful, it's Rustomjee. And one of the things that I couldn't be talking to you and yet not telling you what we practice at Rustomjee. Not a brand story for you to pitch. Of course, you are all welcome to visit any of our projects to understand and experience us. Some of you would have already done that. But the thoughtfulness is something which is there in our homes in very many ways. And I always tell people, how many of you have read maybe Times of India today? If you would have, probably you can see there is a news story. There's one hand there. I don't know if you read. There's a news story that Rustomjee is the first builder, as it quotes, who has created a solution to noise barrier. Now at Pali Hill we have a project which is called Pali Parishram, and it's some of the best celebrity homes that we have in Pali Hill. And some of the neighborhood customers were really getting disturbed. Now, you know, in Mumbai this is a challenge. We are market leaders and we are in the redevelopment space, and in redevelopment space limitations are always a concern. Mumbai has a lot of challenge with respect to land, and hence the whole of the city is going vertical. With verticalization, obviously you have to, you know, enclose the plot and try and construct. But all said and done, there are noise levels which can be disturbing for people around who are in a very peaceful, otherwise very tranquil, ambience. So some of the one of the activists also took an initiative, and the society members, when they complained or they said, you know, there's a lot of noise, we first changed the timings. We first agreed on certain timelines that okay, these timelines, or on weekends we'll avoid, or this we'll avoid. But finally we came up with a solution which is like putting sound barriers at a construction site. This is a first in Mumbai, and we are hoping that this will be replicated across all construction projects. And where is it coming from? None of us had thought about. One of my project heads, when he heard this complaint or this concern by a few neighbors, they were not direct customers, but everyone is your customer. Everyone, you are in that society that you cannot be ignorant of what's happening to the society, what's happening to others, and that is where the empathy comes in at play. So this has got very well covered in Times of India today, and it's a lovely news story. When I saw it, I was getting tempted to put it on the PowerPoint, but I said, let me leave it to you, to your choice of reading. There is something called Fridge of Hope. Now, Fridge of Hope is another experiment which we are doing is with one of our premium projects. We have put a refrigerator that all the food that gets surplus at our home, we would put it to a better use. Instead of just putting it in a fridge for our own eating next day, if you could, the surplus food, if you could go and put outside in the Fridge of Hope kept near the gate of the society, anybody who is passing by and is hungry can just go ahead and access it. So it's a very powerful initiative. If all the societies were to adopt, I think that will serve the cause. So it's one of the, again, customer needs in a way, understanding from the needs of the society that we are trying to address on and the human values that we carry and the thoughtfulness, that is how it was felt. There is another piece what we call the circle of happiness. Circle of happiness, I don't know if you are aware of, there is this research going on in Harvard for the last about 85 years on happiness. And there is Professor Robert Waldinger. He's an authority on the subject, and his team, they've been working on this for the last so many years. in terms of identifying what gives happiness to human beings. One of the biggest missions of life, it's happiness for you and people around you. So what gives happiness is being researched. So we invited Robert Waldinger to India. We put up a big show at NCPA. It was 900 strong in the audience. We invited our customers, our channel partners, our employees, put everyone in there and made them experience, understand what the Harvard's research has to tell us with respect to happiness and how we could inbuild it in the communities that we create at Rustomjee. And we are trying to propagate. It's still a journey. Have we achieved something mega out of it? Not yet. But the thought is so powerful. In fact, it was so powerful, let me tell you, one of our other offices was getting inaugurated and it was one day before Dussehra. We had a Dussehra puja kept for the inauguration and Robert was in town one day before. I actually invited Robert to come and inaugurate our new offices and bless it with happiness, and we call it this the true circle of happiness, and please come and and that's post which we shifted. So I think that's another piece which we are very proud of. Senior care in design, that's actually not the right word that we use in our branding team. If you'll ask my branding team, they don't call it senior care anymore. They call it future ready homes. But then that's marketing. So for my HR folks, I would still like to, at least for their understanding, call it senior care. How thoughtful we are in design for our customers, whether it is a grab rail where when some elder person is moving in a home, or whether it is a folding seat in the shower because they need to sit down and take a shower, etc. Or there are footlights and many other such products. I'm not here to sell the homes. I'm just telling you all of these are ideas which have come from customers. A thought process on customer centricity. Some customer had a complaint or some customer had a need, stated or unstated or implied as they call it, right? But it's up to you how you react, how you respond. One could choose to ignore something, and say, okay, I'm in mass housing, I don't care, I'll just sell what I have. But we are not like that. We are not cut out to be a developer of that kind. And I feel that, and why am I sharing all these stories, you will understand when I move to the next slide, that the voices of the customer are paramount in your business and in your business and in your business. And you will see that how. So senior care and design, Gen Next watching YouTube in shower. Of course, we also had, mirrors where you could just, start playing YouTube while you are in the shower, etc., etc. All those are technology stuff. Some of them are actually gimmicks too. You don't need to be, please enjoy your shower, okay? So, okay, and the buzzword is use case. All this which I talked about is generally called a use case. Especially the IT guys, they will use this word called use case. Now, what are your use cases? The human resources. Do you have a use case? That's where I actually wanted to stop. Whenever I understand customer-centric change, I only relate it to products, I relate it to commercials, I relate it to relations and transactions in business. I stop using it for my relationships. I stop connecting the dots for my own self. What is my use case? Do I have multiple use cases? Have I checked myself completely? What else could be my use case? What is my potential? What are my customers asking? Who are my customers? When I was looking at this in a human chain, when I was looking at it, for the father, a child in early days, probably the child is the customer. I don't know if you relate to this, but think of it in a different way, at a different platform. That end of the day, the father is trying to meet every need of the child in a very customer-centric, very caring mode, in a very delicate manner, right? And vice versa becomes true at some point in time. As you grow, as they grow old, and as the use case changes, and now the use case are you. So that's what I was trying to say. Is talent a use case? If yes, then what's yours? And how customer-centric are you? Why did I think of putting this as a slide? I do know some of you must be thinking, yeah, I'm still not able to relate to this. I'll tell you why. You know, we just completed the appraisal process at Rustomjee. And a classic for any HR is that every year when you complete the appraisal process, the PMS as they call it, now I always tell people, I think it's a milestone in every HR's journey every year. And every year after that got completed, you have different kinds of people seeking an appointment with you. Some of them are, they're all different use cases, you know. Some will come and say, you know, why have I not been promoted? Why I have got less than him? Why I have not, why can't, you know, I get more, etc., etc. Market is such, so-and-so is a vice president in so-and-so company. If they are only handling one project, I am handling 5. You know, somebody came to me the other day, a very senior guy, he says, Mahesh, you know what, हमारा life ज़्यादा नहीं होता है, I am 45 now. I said, hello. So he said, no, you don't understand, we work in projects, हमें sun में बाहर काम करना होता है, धूप में काम करना होता है, हमारी life ज़्यादा नहीं है. So I need to actually earn faster. So I said, listen, just because we guys are sitting in air-conditioned offices at head office, does it mean we have better life? Are you thinking that? On the contrary, we are in a very sedentary lifestyle. You are lucky that you are in the sun. You are lucky that you are fit. You are lucky that you have to, you know, you work hard and you manually work. If you ask me, we are still glued on to Rujuta Divekar's book which says, you know, keep the water bottle in the front so you don't forget, etc., kind of thoughts. We live that life. Don't be under that impression that you will have a, you know, difficult life after some time. On the contrary, you will turn out to be healthy. But don't use this as a use case here for asking for an increment. I mean, come on. Do we have better arguments? So I gave him a use case. I said, okay, you think you deserve more. You think you deserve a promotion. You think you deserve a raise. You think you deserve a better role. I said, okay, tomorrow I'm sending you, have you reached the, you know, epitome of leadership? Tomorrow there is an invite from IIM Ahmedabad. They want somebody to come and speak on technology. Are you ready? Can I send you? Are you ready to go and speak? No, I'm technically very good, you know. So I said, listen, it's not about only technology when you go up the ladder, right? It will have to be much more. People will look up to you. You need to have a fan following. You will have people wanting to be like you. They want to learn from you. And that, most of that will be leadership, not technology once you are 45 plus. So where is your leadership? Can that be scaled now? Can I send you? He said, no, I'm not immediately ready. I said, okay, no problem. Not tomorrow, 1 month. No, give me some more time, you know. Where I'm bringing you to, that everybody wants to earn more, get better levels, better everything. But they don't want to invest in themselves. And there is that popular saying which gets rubbed onto us multiple times in our lifetime which says, you know, if you keep doing what you always did, you will keep getting what you always got. Right? So I think you need to learn to be uncomfortable to be growing. Your use cases need to increase. You need to check your Zomato, you need to check your Ola, you need to check what you are reading and seeing in the environment from your customers. Who are your customers? Your customers, once you are working, will be your peers, they will be your colleagues, they will be your seniors, they will be your juniors. Everyone will be a customer. We have that concept of internal customer, external customer, etc., etc. But I think more importantly and very fundamentally, each one of us needs to know that we need to address all our customers in all walks of life and with all the panache, and ensuring that whatever is required is being worked upon innovatively with something new and something better. Now, how do you actually, I don't know if I were to again quote some of these, of course, they come in very, very handy. Always we talk about adaptability, agility, and learnability, and these are the ones which people are difficult to adjust to many a time. So someone was sitting in my office said, you know, I come all the way from Dombivli, it takes me 5 hours to reach Matunga, you know. So I had to, hello, okay, where do you start from? I start from Dombivli, this place. How long does it take you to reach the station? 10 minutes. How long does it take you to reach by train? 1 hour, 10 minutes. I said, that's 1 hour, 10 minutes and 10 minutes. Another 15 minutes to the site, okay? Total of 1.5 hours. Make it to and fro, it is 3 hours. I said, does it really take 1 hour, 10 minutes from Dombivli to reach Dadar? No, I take slow train because, fast trains are difficult. I said, hello. Okay, you take slow trains, but still 1.5 hour into 2 is 3 hours. Why are you telling me 5? Why are you building an impression? Why are you not being truthful? And what is difficult? If you are at this age finding it difficult to travel, and that is because you have been brought in here because my project is yet to start there. Once it starts there, you will be there. Where I am coming from is that expectations are high, adaptability is very limited, agility is very limited, and learnability, if you ask someone to learn more about something, they are very difficult. We rolled out something called ET Grandmasters. We launched ET Grandmasters. It's a huge platform where you have videos of some of the most successful leaders, the likes of Harsh Mariwala, Narayan Murthy, etc. and all that. And the concept is that you could Google a problem and you could find a video of how they dealt with that problem when they had that issue. So we rolled it out. When those guys came to me, they came to me selling that product for the top leadership team. They said, okay, this is the price and this many licenses. I said, listen, why are you limiting it to leadership team? Suppose I give you 10x the volume, can you reduce the price 10 times? Because for you it is a platform, doesn't matter. But I'll give you a use case, you will go and sell to 100 companies. They agreed to not 10x, 1/10, but we negotiated hard and I rolled it out to my entire company. My office boy has access to ET Grandmasters. So yesterday I was in a program where one of the mid-level training program was happening, and I asked everyone, I said, how many of you have actually logged into ET Grandmasters and listened to 3 most successful and most powerful videos for a solution? And you will be surprised. Oh, sorry, you would not be surprised. You know it, that how many hands would have gone up, right? So fact of the life is, I think it is important to invest in our own self. Customer-centric change also happens to your own self. Please check your own use case, figure out what is important for you, and I think otherwise we'll keep listening to Palki Sharma's video which says 55% of campuses employment has gone down, this, that. Don't get carried away, folks. I'm telling you, it's you who is only one. Don't worry about 55% of the world. You are the use case. You build yourself and don't worry about, and someone was asking me, Mahesh, you've been in HR, how long, what do you enjoy? So I was telling him that for 15 years I was in sales and marketing. I came into HR by invitation. And by the way, that's not the reason of my first 3 slides, okay? If you must be thinking this guy is still stuck there. No, it's not that. But I genuinely enjoyed the journey. For 15 years I was in sales, headed a national team, and then transitioned into corporate training, and by invitation I got into HR. It's been now a long journey, but that's how it was. So what's your toolkit? Very quickly, I'll not put too much onto it. These are words which you hear every day. It says what customer-centric changes that you need to be sensitive of: your communication, your initiative, proactiveness, and drive empathy and gratitude. Being grateful to what you have. Many people come into the room and they ask for, I need this, I need that, but they are never appreciative of the fact that what has been given. So I think there are multiple opportunities for you to express your gratitude to the blessings that you have in your life. My last slide will read about the attitude bomb, and the attitude bomb was that there is this last story which I'll tell you about. There is this small story which says there was this gentleman called Jerry. It's called the Jerry story. Jerry was a restaurateur, and one day, in the end of the day, while he was counting cash, his back door was open and some robbers came in and they put a gun on him, and he resisted, did not give all the cash, so they shot him 5-6 bullets into him. He was in the operation theater and he suddenly opened his eyes and he saw 5-6 doctors on top of him. And Jerry was actually all these years known to be, someone that when you ask Jerry, how are you? Jerry would always reply by saying, if I were any better, I would be twins. That was his, statement always. So that's the kind of attitude Jerry would have. And when he saw these doctors very worried whether this guy will survive or no, Jerry, and they were all asking, when they saw him wake up, he said, hi, Jerry, are you allergic to anything? He says, yes. I said, what? I'm allergic to bullets. So everybody started laughing in that room, and he said, guys, don't treat me like as if I'm dead. I will survive. You guys focus on your work. So that's the kind of attitude you need to have. So stay positive. In fact, I use his sentence many a time when somebody asks me, how are you, Mahesh? And I always say, if I were any better, I would be twins. So keep it up and keep that kind of an attitude, and keep an attitude to learn, to grow, to communicate, understand your use cases. There are multiple. Thank you very much.